I was a Young Life kid. I went to club every single week, I hung out with my Young Life leaders, and they were always around. They were on campus with us, they came to all of our games, and so I was really thankful that I did have these leaders who were there for me all the time. And so Young Life has just had a huge impact on my life, and it is a really big part of my testimony because I needed them around me when I was in high school and even into college. It was just really great to have them as well as my parents, just to have this leader, this friend, another adult in my life. And I needed them, and I was so thankful to have that.
So my wife and I were at the Passion Conference last year serving, and she was talking to one of the other ladies there about Young Life Johns Creek and how they had a need for leaders. Well, as we were driving home that night, after midnight, we were tired, she looked at me and said, "Hey, I think we should be leaders." And my immediate reaction was, well, one, I'm way too old. Two, we have kids ourselves. And three, I have this job that takes up all this time. Would we even have time to do it? And then I kind of smiled and said, let's do it. Let's see what God has planned for us and believe that He would give the time and the resources to be able to do it.
I became a Young Life leader because I know firsthand the importance and the value that it has on a teenager. And so I want to be able to share with these girls now and these teenagers that they can find a full and abundant life with Jesus, and that it is really fun to follow Him and what that looks like. And so I'm excited that I have the chance now to pour into them and to serve them and to love on them, and that I can be that person there to listen to them and to lead them and to teach them.
One thing about being a Young Life leader, which I think is so important, I think a lot of people my age in this world get so caught up in their work and the things that happen to them, their circumstances. Being a Young Life leader gives you that opportunity to really invest in others and the God's purpose that He has for you. And I think the really amazing thing about that is how much better your life gets by investing in others.
I love Tuesday nights. This all started because we do our campaigners group on Wednesday mornings. Land meets the guys and I meet the girls. And so Tuesday nights evolved when Macy, one of my girls that I just absolutely love hanging out with, she said it was really hard for her to get to campaigners on Wednesday morning, just getting through the traffic and making it. And so Lan said, why don't you come spend the night with us? We've got a guest room and we'll have you over for dinner and we'll hang out, and then you'll be here for Wednesday morning campaigners. And so that has evolved into this tradition of Tuesday nights. Macy comes over to spend the night with us, Hannah's come over to spend the night with us, Bennett comes over for dinner, Tyler's come over. We have these kids that they come into our lives. I love the chance to open up my home here. So Macy is the first person that Hannah introduced me to. And she is so much fun and so crazy to be with. She is so creative that whenever we talk, I just end up laughing so much. I love all of her stories. I love hearing about her life and what's important to her. And she is the reason of our Tuesday nights and what happens here at our house. And so that has been really great for me to see this relationship develop between the two of us, that I do get this extra time to spend with her especially too. And so I've loved to see her faith grow and her friendships grow, and the fellowship that we've been able to have together has just been the best of the best.
When I think of Katie, I also think of selflessness and just her love for God and how much she wants to share it with us. And staying at her house every Tuesday night, I just feel like I'm part of their family now, and it's just so amazing for me to have someone like that in my life. And I love having her as a role model, from anything like going out and having froyo outings with the family to carving pumpkins, or her just listening to what's going on in my life and just shows how much she cares. And I'm just really blessed to have someone like that in my life.
One of the first kids I got to meet was Bennett. Bennett actually lives right around the corner from me. And when we first met, he couldn't drive yet, so I would go and pick him up in the morning. We got to know each other really well, really fast. I've loved getting to know Bennett. He is such an amazing person. One of my favorite stories about Bennett is one morning I told him, you won't believe it, but my wife signed me up to coach my girls in basketball. And he immediately looked at me and said, can I help you coach? And I said, absolutely. And I checked with the school and they thought it was a great idea. But to see him as a 16-year-old kid at the time, to give up his Saturday mornings to come out and help me coach a bunch of third graders, it was simply amazing. In fact, there was one game I couldn't even make it, and they actually let him be the head coach. You know, Bennett's an amazing person, and I'm so excited just to kind of walk through life with him and just be a small part of what God's got planned for him. And to see him graduate in a couple of years and go to college, and I know we're going to be friends for a long time, just means a lot to me.
My young life leader is very, very important to me. Half the time we're telling jokes to each other and doing crazy things and making each other laugh our hats off, really. And the other half of the time we're talking about deep questions on why things happen and how does this tie into our lives, how does this affect our friends, what does this say about our faith and stuff. When I tell my friends that one of my best friends personally is a middle-aged man with 2 kids and a wife, that usually throws them for a loop. And then that gives me an opportunity to tell them, I get to introduce them to my young life leader. They get to meet him, they get to see how awesome he is and what he exemplifies. And that brings them into a whole nother side. That gets to take them into young life. They get to learn about Jesus, they get to learn about their own personal faith and what that means. He is a mentor, he's someone I can go to for advice. When I have problems, I can go and talk to him and he'll listen to me and he'll be able to answer any questions that I have about what's going on. He's been there before, he's gone through most of the problems that I've been through, and he understands my perspective of it.
Hannah has a special place in my heart. She and her family are a major part of why Wayne and I are doing this together. So my family and Hannah's family go way back many, many years through Young Life. And so I think it's so cool that God would decide to put us together, that he would coordinate this time so that I would be a Young Life leader at her school, in her grade, for her and for her friends and the girls in her class. It has just been simply amazing. It's just been really incredible to see her faith and to see her heart just grow so much, and what God has been doing in her life, and I can see what he's going to be doing with it. And the fact that I am her leader and walking beside her with that has been just incredible to me and such a testimony.
I'm so thankful for Katie. My family has known her for a really long time, but this past year of her being my Young Life leader, Katie has become my really good friend. And when I think of her, I think of selflessness. She takes time out of her life to invest in me and invest in my friends, whether it's just every day or Monday night at club or Tuesday nights or campaigners or organizing work crews. She is always thinking about us, and I'm so thankful that I have someone that I can go to talk to just about life and my faith, and her love for Jesus is so evident. And
so I love serving with Land, my husband. We have had the time of our lives, we say, with it, and every night, every day, something different happens. We love that we do get to come together and serve this sophomore class at Wesley. It's so neat that as a husband and wife, we get to come together and do this and have that part of our relationship has just skyrocketed, and it has made us so much stronger. And I just have loved every second being able to do this with him and going on these camps with him too, and that I'm not coming home telling him about it, or he's not coming home telling me about it.
You know, I think one of my favorite things about it was this past Valentine's Day. You know, most people have been married for 10 years, you want to go on a date, just the 2 of you. Well, our Valentine's Day consisted of taking 30 sophomores up to work crew at Windy Gap. And I was talking to Katie about it. When we came up with a date, we didn't think twice about it. We couldn't think of a better place to be. And though we didn't get to spend a lot of time together, knowing that we were serving together, it's just incredible. I think many couples should go through trying to serve together, because it makes such a huge difference in your life. And you do get drawn closer together. And I think that's what God wants for us. He wants us to be doing things together, serving together. But our Valentine's Day in 2014 was spent with 30 sophomores up at Windy Gap, serving middle school kids, serving their meals to them and washing their dishes. And I think decades down the road, we'll look back and say that was our best Valentine's Day.
I'm Bennett.
I'm Macy. And I'm Hannah, and these are our Young Life leaders. The Creek.